Thanks for joining us on Arirang News. I'm Kim Dami in Seoul. It's Buddha's birthday here in South Korea. Temples nationwide held ceremonies. With the country's largest Buddhist sect, the Choge Order of Korean Buddhism, having held its main ceremony at Chogesa Temple in Seoul. Over 10,000 people attended the ceremony, which was based on this year's theme of emphasizing peace in society and compassion in people's hearts. This year's Buddha's birthday also falls on the same day as Children's Day, with events for kids taking place across the country. On Nodo Island in Seoul, a circus-themed festival for children runs until 8 p.m. tonight. Meanwhile, at Seoul Children's Grand Park, interactive programs and kid-friendly themed gardens are available daily until 10 p.m. for 2 weeks. South Korea has the lowest percentage of children out of any of the 37 countries with a population of more than 40 million. According to data released on Monday by Japan, based on a UN report, only 10.6% of South Korea's population in 2024 were aged 0 to 14. Now, this is lower than Japan's 11.4%. Since 2020, South Korea's had a lower percentage of children than Japan, even though Japan faced low birth rates and an aging population earlier. Italy had the third lowest figures, with nearly 12% of its population aged 14 or younger. With less than a month to go until the presidential election, a Democratic Party candidate Lee Jae-myung spent a long weekend meeting voters across the country. And meanwhile, former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo proposed a meeting with the People Power Party candidate Kim Moon-soo amid expectations of unifying their candidacies. Our correspondent Shin-young reports.
The presidential race between the Democratic Party and the People Power Party is starting to take shape. Democratic Party presidential candidate Lee Jae-myung began his Monday schedule by attending the Buddha's birthday ceremony. He wrote on social media that Buddhist culture is a key part of Korean tradition and pledged to reduce the financial burden of restoring traditional temples. For Children's Day, Lee promised to gradually expand the age limit for childcare subsidies from the current cap of under 8 to under 18. Lee continued his tour across the country to hear from voters visiting parts of Gyeonggi-do and Chungcheongbuk-do provinces on Monday. Following the Supreme Court's decision on Lee's election law violation case, the DP urged Chief Justice Cho Lee-dae to postpone all court hearings involving presidential candidates until after the June 3rd presidential election. The party, which decided on Sunday to delay a decision on whether to try to impeach Cho, warned it may take strong action if the request is ignored. The DP also called on the High Court to cancel or postpone the first hearing of Lee's retrial scheduled for May 15. Meanwhile, talks are gearing up between the People Power Party's Kim Moon-soo and former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo about a possible coalition in the presidential race. Kim and Han met for the first time on Monday since Kim was nominated as the PPP's presidential candidate during a visit to Chogesa Temple to mark Buddha's birthday. Han suggested they meet later in the day. Kim's side confirmed their encounter but said they only discussed meeting soon without going into any details. On Sunday, the PPP decided to establish a body under its election committee to explore merging its campaign with Han's. An official from Han's camp confirmed that Han, who announced his candidacy last Friday, is willing to leave all coalition logistics, including rules and procedures, to the PPP. All eyes are on whether the two will merge their campaigns before the candidate registration deadline this Sunday. Shin-young, Arirang News.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff on all foreign-made films, claiming America's movie industry is dying a very fast death. In a social media post on Sunday, Trump accused other countries of luring filmmakers away with incentives in what he called a concerted effort to undermine the movie industry, labeling it a national security threat. Speaking to reporters the same day, Trump said, "The U.S. in trade talks with many countries, including China, while discussions with Chinese officials on a range of issues continue." He noted he has no plans to speak directly with Chinese President Xi Jinping this week. Trump said China was eager to make a deal, but stressed that it must be fair and that the outcome remains uncertain. A while back, we covered an elaborate reenactment of a centuries-old diplomatic mission that begins in Korea and ends in Japan. That mission is now reenacting its trip to the neighboring country, having set sail from Busan last week. Our culture correspondent Song Yujin tells us more.
The final stop on Korean soil for the Joseon Tongsinsa, Korea's diplomatic missions to Japan during the 17th to 19th centuries, was the port city of Busan. After arriving from Seoul, hundreds of envoys boarded ships bound for Japan. Every year, this historic moment is revived through the Joseon Tongsinsa festival. Dressed in traditional Korean attire, hundreds of participants marched through Busan, retracing the footsteps of the original envoys.
It's my first time participating, but it really made me reflect more deeply on Korea's relationship with Japan, such as the colonial era.
When I filled the form for this event, I did look it up, and it was a good historical piece that I got to know. Yeah.
And completing the recreation, the Tongsinsa ship has also been meticulously brought back to life. So this is a vessel that was modeled after the original Tongsinsa ship setting sail for Japan. By mid-May, it will arrive in its final destination, Osaka. This marks the first time in 261 years that the route to Osaka is being taken. The man behind this reconstruction is Hong Sun-jae, who has spent a decade bringing the historic vessel back to life. Since 2015, he's collected historical documents, studied ancient ship models, and traveled across the country to find the right timber. The ship launched in 2018, made its first voyage to Japan in 2023, and this year it's heading farther than ever before.
This year marks 60 years since South Korea and Japan normalized diplomatic ties. Our ship will hold an arrival ceremony in Osaka on May 13th, Korea Day at the Osaka World Expo. Through this journey, we hope to promote peace and remind people that our two countries share a long history of connection, not just conflict.
Having departed from Busan on April 28th, the ship will visit multiple ports in Japan, hosting exhibitions and performances, just as the Joseon Tongsinsa envoys did centuries ago to share Korean culture. Song Yujin, Arirang News, Busan.
That is all we have for today. Arirang News will be back tomorrow at noon Korea time. Thanks for watching.